Robins Island on the northwest tip of Tasmania is one of the windiest places in the country.
On three sides of the island, it's all Bass Strait. You know, we're stuck into the ocean.
John Hammond's family has owned Robins Island for more than a century. He says the island is the perfect place to generate clean, green wind power.
We have quite a unique situation here with our property and the resource of this wind blowing over it that's just world class.
Renewable energy company UPC wants to build a $1.6 billion wind farm on the island.
We have an absolutely stellar site, low turbulence, high average wind speeds, which in my experience is some of the best in the world.
UPC wants to erect up to 163 wind turbines like these in Victoria. They would tower up to 270 metres from ground to blade tip. Those turbines could generate up to 1,000 megawatts of electricity, enough to power 600,000 homes.
Australia is transitioning to a lower carbon economy. Over the next 10 years, there is 6,000 megawatts of coal-fired generation that will be coming out of the system simply through ageing, and we need to find alternative generation sources.
But this renewable energy project now has a high-profile opponent in former Greens leader Bob Brown.
And that's happened with renewable energy. It's now become an avenue for big business to be pursuing profits because it is such a profitable business these days. But we mustn't put the profits ahead of the planet.
The Greens for years have been calling for renewable energy. They've been saying no to coal, we need more renewable energy. And then when a major renewable energy project is put on the table and to progress, Bob Brown and the Greens are opposing it. It's the height of hypocrisy.
Bob Brown achieved national prominence back in the 1980s when he led the battle against the Franklin Dam, a major hydroelectric project in a World Heritage wilderness.
People can only say it's hypocritical if they haven't studied my form. I cut my teeth with so many others on opposing the Franklin Dam. That was a renewable energy source.
Tasmania has long been a renewable energy powerhouse, with about 90% of its electricity needs met by hydro alone. But now the island state is in the midst of a wind farm boom, with developers wanting to export more renewable energy to the mainland. There's actually been wind farms in this area harnessing the power of the winds of the Bass Strait for nearly 20 years. With Tasmania now having designs on being the so-called battery of the nation, developers say projects like this make even more economic sense.
We are confident that we can produce energy at a lower rate than is currently the average price in the market, so we should be helping depress the price of electricity for consumers.
The plan is to tap into what's been dubbed Project Marinus, a possible second undersea cable from Tasmania to Victoria, which would allow more energy to be sent directly into the national energy market.
There is an opportunity here for Tasmania to generate some revenue, which the balance of it, or the profits, help fund roads and hospitals and other infrastructure developments for Tasmania.
I don't think Tasmania should foot the $1 billion plus bill of another undersea cable to ensure that this project in its entirety can function. That should be something for private enterprise.
You can only drive to Robins Island at low tide.
We could have a window of nearly an hour either side of low tide.
To get the power from the wind farm to the grid, a new bridge and causeway would have to be built, a proposal that alarms some residents.
Go and find anywhere in the world that's like this here, if we don't retain this, and we're custodians this, if we don't retain this, heaven help us.
Bevan Anderson owns a property near to Robins Island, and he says the wind farm is in the wrong area.
Here we're going to have wind turbines put up that's going to aesthetically degrade the ambience of the place, which to me, it's not a real fair thing. It's the proponents and the owners of the island getting what they want, and other people have to suffer the consequences.
A lot of time in the Tarkine.
Bob Brown argues that with blades spinning at up to 300 kilometres per hour, the Robbins Island wind farm would also put endangered birds at risk.
We have alternatives for renewable energy. We don't have alternatives for extinct species of birds.
Wildlife researcher Nick Mooney says the wind farm would be bad news for birds of prey like this wedge-tailed eagle.
There's a basic incompatibility with these great big turbines and what happens in a bird's brain. The birds haven't evolved with these things. They're not very well adapted to deal with them.
The developers say they've been working with experts to ensure the wind farm is designed to minimise the impact on the birds.
And we have provided exclusion zones as well as detailed studies and observations on site. We are strongly of the view that we can cohabitate.
I would rather wind generation or water or solar than coal. And so, and that's what we're up against. If we want to survive as a nation, we've got to have energy.
The Mayor of Circular Head, Daryl Quillam, says the promise of hundreds of new jobs has most of the town in favour of the wind farm.
We do lose a lot of our young people and they go to the mainland or wherever because there's not a huge amount of jobs.
Tasmania's Environment Protection Authority has to clear the project before the council can vote on it. But the battle over the Robbins Island wind farm reflects the broader debate over Australia's energy future.
I think the majority of people in the Green movement will say, well, this is one of the actions that can help mitigate what's going to happen if, you know, the results do come through quicker than expected with this climate change.
Climate change is a major threat to all species, our own included, on this planet. And if you're going to go with a energy production system for climate change, for which there are alternatives, and knock off bird species for which there are not alternatives, we need to do that with our eyes wide open.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.